Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another video on Conqueror's Blade. So, going to be a really chilled out video today. Just going to sort of kick back, have a little bit of a chat, play a little bit with these Javelin Sergeants, kind of see how we get on in this game. I've already done sort of a review on the Javelin Sergeants, and actually I think I've done a video comparing the Javelin Sergeants and the Imperials. Javelineers, not the Imperial Sergeants. What am I on about? And so I've kind of done all that, so I just thought this would be a fun little game. These are one of the few units. A good example of my playstyle is I often make mistakes and don't learn the units properly until you end up telling me. A good example of that is like the Halberdier Sergeants. I was playing them quite badly, using them in the phalanx block far too much. You know, once you'd sort of done that first video and you'd all corrected me, got me using it in the proper formation, got me bracing at the right points, you know, they were a lot more effective. And in almost all cases, I think you're all right, and you're almost always correct in the comments, and I always follow your advice, because you're right. But the Javelin Sergeants is one case where I actually disagree with the bulk of you, because most people in every video I've done, either on these guys that are max level, and all the Imperial Javelineers, which I've also got, which are also max level, you almost always tell me that the Imperial Javelineers are the better unit, and that I should be using them. And even then, the times when I do use the Javelin Sergeants, the people who do use them say I go on the wrong veterancy line, and say I should use the heal rather than the double shot. And I honestly, this is one thing I just completely disagree with you all on. I absolutely love these Javelin Sergeants. I just think they're just such a lovely unit. They're not good in melee, but I don't need my Javelins to be good in melee. They just have a ton of Javelins, which do a great amount of damage. They've got a great amount of block break. They love the double throw, the amount of DPS they can put out in a short period of time. I just absolutely love these guys. So yeah, real winner for me. Boink, goes him. So yeah, we'll just play through this game and kind of see how we get on. Obviously on the, I don't even know what it's called now, the Constantinople map, whatever the seasonal map effectively is called. I'm not much of a fan of this iteration of it. I really much preferred the earlier ones than I do this one at the moment. It's not really to my style quite so much. But anyway, things are going pretty well so far. We've just been lobbing a lot of sharp sticks at people in the A area, and obviously effectively trying to avoid any real direct combat, because obviously these guys aren't particularly great in melee. They hold up okay. They've got almost 10,000 hit points, and they do have something like 600 piercing defense now. I've started to throw a few points in the actual unit tech tree into them now, so they're actually upping their piercing and slashing defense, and eventually you can kind of get an extra 10% on the ammo count. Although, to be honest, I suspect that's going to be of limited use really, because they get 5 throws in their current state. I doubt that extra 10% is really going to get them to 6, apart from some very few occasions, so it's probably not all that useful, but still, I might do it all the same. I was a bit confused here. Initially looking at these archers, I really thought there was going to be like a great bombard somewhere, so I was a bit hesitant to run out here, but when they got out there I thought I will throw them and hit a handful of them while they were climbing up the ladders, and since the supply point's right here I didn't think there was a great deal to lose. So we're already up to 60 kills. Been having a bit of fun, sort of, javelin everyone around the start area. I'm just kind of looking for where I want to go next, thinking about what I want to do. One of the area probably these Javelin Sergeants fall down is their anti-heroing is not so good. Unlike the Imperial Javelineers, they don't quite get that really tight volley, and you do get an auto aim with the number 4 button. You know, you can click on a specific hero. I don't know, it just doesn't work out in quite the same way as it does with Imperial Javelineers. That's not really their forte. They're a unit killer, but you can get some good hero kills as well. You just tend to have to actually manually aim it with the 2 key rather than using the 4 key, I find. And if you can just sort of aim it at a close range, they just tend to hit enough with that volume to sort of get away with it. So I'm sort of just looking around, thinking about which way I want to go, healing up, and look like there's a bit of trouble over at the B base. Got some Imperial Javelineers, Imperial Pike Guard. I get my unit names muddled up easily. So they did a good job of stopping the ASAP push. And then we just javelin straight into those PVs. That was always a satisfying one, like 8, 9 PVs killed there. I mean, that's a 5-star unit. It's quite a satisfying little bit of work to do. And then we're on our way back to the supply point. I spend an awful lot of the time with these Javelin Sergeants walking to and from the supply point. But at least they move fairly quickly, and they resupply pretty much instantly because their ammo count compared to archers is really low, and it's kind of an interesting. I would say it could almost be a bug because no matter, for example, if you put a unit on a supply point to heal up, they heal up at the same rate no matter what their total hit points is. They don't gain like 500 hit points per second. They gain like 5% of their health back per second or something like that. It's on a scaled system. Whereas these guys, they refill their ammunition almost instantly. Double kill. So they can kill heroes. But you see, I manually aimed it, and the enemies were fairly low health, so it worked out quite nicely. Final little volley before we run off. Should probably have ran earlier because we actually took 2 unit casualties there. And that final volley, but still, nice to make sure we use up as much of our ammo as we can. This was a strange one. See, after we just got 2 double hit kills, this one just went terribly. They threw most of the javelins into the stairs, but thankfully that short sword didn't really want to stay around to fight. And considering a lot of my unit was on pretty low health, I didn't really want to particularly fight him anyway. You know, I was also out of ammo, so I'm quite pleased he made a run for it. And we get the unit back up to health and back up to ammo. So you're thinking, okay, you know, what are we going to do now? Still quite a lot of stuff coming in. Thinking about the blue point, they have obviously got these hotches set up at the bottom, which is a bit of a pain. Get a few volleys out. These are guys, of course, with the veterancy line that I've gone down, they get this block break ability. It's like a plus 60-70% block break, which is quite nice. It means they actually go through shields fairly well. So that means you can, even when you're throwing at a full unit of Javelin Sergeants or something in shielded formation, they're still quite effective. So we're starting to get pushed back a little bit now. I've actually pushed us off the B point completely. Maybe should have been a bit more rigid there and tried to hold a bit more firm, but anyway, we ultimately kind of ended up getting driven back a little bit. So we're kind of on our way back to the supply point. I was kind of pulling back then. I thought, well, I've actually still got one more volley left, so I might as well wait just for the last few people to round the corner just to get some extra javelin hits in. And then we're out and we're back to the supply point. And I quite wanted to make a hold on the supply point. Obviously, Javelin Sergeants with unlimited ammo, because particularly this is where the double shot really is one of the key reasons why it's such an important veterancy line to go down, in my opinion. Because it enables you, gives you that extra way of throwing more and more javelins out. So I'm just pulling back. I mean, it's obviously helped a lot by these really, really good allied units who are doing a really good job of sort of keeping on scene and continuing the pressure on. But really, we can just throw at will. You know, if I miss, it doesn't really matter. I'll just walk back a couple of meters and grab some more ammo. We're just continuing to throw rounds out, getting a bit more damage in, trying to stop the unit itself getting hit. Just keeping them on the supply point where I can. Got to be a little bit careful with them because after you volley, they can sometimes be a smidge on the aggressive side and actually want to charge into combat. Like you can see a few of them actually doing that now. I don't think I necessarily noticed initially. So that's why some of them are actually starting to take some damage. Hopefully Maul got them all and kept that guy away from us. But you know, we're just racking up kills here pretty easily. Just sat at the back, just throwing javelins, I've realised some of them have gone a bit too far forwards here now. I'm trying to call them all back. Get them back up to that supply point. Bad Javelin Sergeants. But you know, we're up to what, 120 kills now? And we just stood here on the supply point. And as they come over, you know, our units are doing well enough to keep them at bay. And then we're just sort of getting the kills on them. And yeah, quite lovely. And really, that's bulk of the enemy push here. Push back. Now we've got quite a few enemy heroes still here. I'm trying to get some damage on them, trying to get some javelin volleys in. I need to come a little bit further forwards here, really, to actually be able to get the shots over the edge. And then we continue to sort of push down the stairs and start to drive these guys back a little bit. Trying to get some javelin shots in on the heroes. This is, say, they kind of struggle a little bit more in kind of the anti-hero capacity. But they can sort of get away with it. There we go, there's another one. It's just not quite as effective as an Imperials in that regard. Kind of regretted getting that. We're going round the corner because of the enemy range. Thought I might get myself in trouble. Thankfully that dual blade didn't go for me, and I was sort of able to get out with my life. And back to the supply point, as usual. And I'm going to go back and get these units healed up again and re-ammunitioned. So obviously this is probably the last few weeks we've got on this map, because obviously with the end of the season, I assume this map is going to end, at least as this game mode. I did kind of wonder if, with Season 5, if we're going to get like a specific map kind of like they've done with this season. In a way, it was kind of good fun. I mean, I did enjoy the fact it gives a significant boost to experience, which is kind of a nice thing. So, yeah, I guess kind of hoping that we do get a similar sort of map, a map mode, other than just the normal siege battles, in ordinary, in Season 5. I also wonder what they're going to do with this map, whether it's something they're going to throw into the normal rotation, or one variant of this map might get thrown into the normal rotation, or if it's just going to be perhaps a bit like Conqueror City and it's just kind of going to disappear. Maybe it'll get used as one of the city maps in the new region or something like that, and we'll perhaps won't see it again. So I don't know. So I guess we'll have to wait and find out, but kind of interesting to see. I was a bit slow in noticing that guy, wasn't I? Could have perhaps saved the artillery if I was a smidge quicker there. Fortunately got some spear bastard threw a spear at me. How dare he? So then I'm just kind of sat basically between the 2 points here where I can either dive out this corridor here and basically throw javelins to cover the supply point, or I can sort of push back inside and throw javelins at the main doorway and kind of keep everyone out that way. But a few people pushing up here, so we're back to throwing some javelins down this way. Just kind of keeping an eye to make sure they're not pushing up. My javelins aren't going on the offensive mode again. But they don't seem to be. They're kind of behaving themselves. They've got those fortibraccios set up, which was kind of a bit of a concern for me because I couldn't really hit them from where I was, and actually just used up the last of my ammo trying. And obviously I don't think I can reasonably round that corner without getting hit, by the fortibraccios. So it kind of put me in a bit of a strange spot. I was sort of waiting here thinking, kind of want to get back on my supply point really. But they were building that grape shot, which is a nice thing. These enemy heroes tried to jump in. It was quite a bold move really, considering there's quite much stuff on that supply from our unit, so to charge in was pretty brave. And those fortibraccios, after getting shot by the grape shot, made the pullback. Just what I wanted. That was perfect for me. And someone throws a bomb at them. Again, that enables me to get up there and get sort of a volley of javelins in them. You start to significantly weak fortibraccios like that, and they start to go down pretty fast. Combine that with an Imperial Pike advance, and we are on to a winner. And the fortibraccios are dead, and the enemy is fast on the retreat at the supply point. I'm not on the not going to chase them out the map because obviously we've still got to protect the C point. We've still got 3 minutes 40 left to go, and they could easily get in and try and take the C point still on this map. So it can still be quite a hard one to defend. So just looking around, kind of seeing what's around, thinking about seeing if I can get some shots kind of through this doorway. To sort of throw javelins at some of the enemy musket units that are kind of out in the open a little bit. Thought I might be able to hit some of them. I'm kind of trying to watch that shot, assuming it's a mortar shot. I think it is. It looks like it hit the wall there. But I was a little bit nervous about that. I wanted to make sure that didn't land in the middle of my unit, because that would somewhat ruin my javelins' day, I suspect. I mean, of course, we've dwindled the javelins quite a lot, really. We're down to a 15-stack unit, so we're, still a fair few of them, but they're somewhat diminished from their original capabilities. They actually have quite a long range on them, don't they? It's amazing how far they can actually throw. Just throwing at some of those enemy muskets out there. And get a couple of kills. Maybe you're sort of hitting for, 3,000-4,000 per javelin? So, even if they're Kriegs, 2 hits and that's the unit dead. So they are quite an effective unit. Anyway, throw them back on the supply, come back out. I was actually thinking of going out the back door here and round kind of the back a little bit, seeing if I could maybe try and support that wall they've clearly broken through. But then quite a few bit of stuff started coming in. Those enemy pike infantry started to come through. I was a bit unsure what they were doing, if there was going to be a follow-up push. But there didn't really actually seem to be, at least not initially. So then I was kind of thinking, I wonder if maybe I can try and catch one of these mauls. I was kind of thinking, I know they're playing a bit of a dangerous game. I should have gone then. See that one who got knocked on the floor at the back? That was my opportunity to do a 4 and an aim. And I might have got a decent chunk of hits on them there. Then our halberdiers kind of go out, which was a strange move. But some Imperial Pikes advance in, so now are actually kind of needed. I'm repositioning because I'm assuming those Imperial Pikes, if there's a backup unit, is going to push this corner. So I'm trying to give myself a little bit of room. Also seen these fortibraccios coming in. It's my double volley out. So I've got one more shot left. We're going with that little bit of a volley on that fortibraccios. Actually just have enough for another volley, which was perfect. So we go a full volley again into that fortibraccios. Again, we've just got another 10-15 kills. And then I need to get them back on that supply point. Obviously, then these Javelin Sergeants turn up, and that kind of messed me up a little bit. So I go in straight with an ult. Quite a silly move, really, to charge him with a glaive like that. If he'd really wanted to kill me and really put his back into it with these Javelin Sergeants, I think he could well have done. But he thankfully decided to run, and that enabled me to just nip my unit onto the supply point. And once I've done that, I'm now back to full ammo, and now I can give chase. Which again, probably a silly thing to do given that the pressure we just saw going onto the C point, now I'm chasing off a unit of Javelin Sergeants, which is a bit unnecessary really. I would have been better off focusing on the C point, but, I was a bit greedy. So I go and throw them back on the supply, and I'm back up to C. 45 seconds to go. And yeah, I'm thinking we should be good. Looking good. Coming up, there's a little bit of stuff here, but not so much that I'm concerned, and certainly not so much that's going to concern me within sort of a 40-second cap. And as we come in, I'm just sort of aiming at the last few, throwing some volleys in, trying to see if I can hit any of the enemy heroes. Not super easily. I thought we were going to get the kill on that guy there, but unfortunately not. Trying to sort of hit some of these last guys. Thankfully managed to get one with my glaive. But yeah, that pretty much spells the end of that. Then the rest of the team just starts to push out. Obviously with 15 seconds to go, thought, well, I might as well join them. Throwing a few javelins out, trying to hit a little bit of stuff. Just get us over the 180 on the kill mark. And use the last little volley of the javelins just to throw a few out into the fight. And there it is. Game, set, a match. Yeah, really big fan of the Javelin Sergeants. They seem to suit this map really nicely. A really fun unit to play. Always been one of my favourite units. Certainly one I would recommend. Even though I know everyone else seems to prefer Imperial Javelineers, I'm always going to be a die-hard Javelin Sergeant fan. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I shall see you all on the next video.